Hello, welcome to Reframing Mindset Podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity and practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day.
Okay, so welcome back to Reframe Mindset Podcast. My name is Constance Brooks. And basically, I guess one of the goal that I had of not recording the night is going to take a while because I guess time. If you listen to my episode about time, you know, time is just a thing that is not on my side right now, but I'm working towards getting it towards my towards my side. Yeah, but other from that now, I guess this topic will be about, there's really a market for everything. I know I always, when I came out of university and such, I knew this guy, this guy, everybody's supposed to know of him, Gary V. And, he always talk about, going on a purpose and doing what, not really going on a purpose, but doing what makes you happy and such like that. But that guy was legit right, bro. There's a market for everything, you know, and you don't have to really go towards doing a job you hate, even though you might have to start. You have to start, but yeah, there's a market for it. Cause look at me, yo. I was basically a quiet dude before this, and I was really quiet. And now I'm basically talking to you, talking to you, and I'm actually liking it sometimes. Sometimes I don't really like it, But it was one of those things I had to do to really get out of my shell, learn to develop my speech better, learn how to formulate my thoughts, how to give my opinions better. Yeah. And through doing that, I created a lane for myself on this podcast thing where basically I have my own, like, legit. I never even thought I could even come up for a name for the podcast. So it was pretty wild when the term Reframe Mindset Podcast came to me. That's how wild to show you how like there's a market for everything. I never even had an idea what name I could come up with. And I came up with the Reframe Mindset Podcast. And it came pretty quick. And it's like, damn, bro, that's general. That's wild, bro. But so for you that's listening, bro, there you can eventually get your dream goal or dream job, but you have to start from somewhere. I started from somewhere, and I guess the best thing I can tell you is go through the school and university. If you're listening this now, you have an advantage that I never had in that. Me telling you to go through the school and university, you listening to this now, you have a more open mind than I had going through it because no, we never had this. I know I'm sounding like one of those old guys talking about, oh, we never had this going up, though I sound like one of those old guys say, oh, you young boys you young guys are pretty privileged to have all these the podcasts and such now. No, but really, no. But listen, if you are listening to this, bro, I tell you what what you have now by listening to this, you have an advantage that I never. I'm going through school with 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 all the reality that the lane that I'm going into is a dead end, science and such like that. And it was pretty true. It was pretty true. But I had to go anywhere, go anyway until I reached the eventual dead end, and then I had to start to learn how to pivot, and then eventually pivot back after after a few pivots and learning like one of the pivots was easy, but I don't want to really get this far was pretty hard. 'Cause basically, you know, like the first pivot was basically to go back into programming, because actually learn how to code and such like that. But the other pivot now was legit how to really get a job, you know, like legit get a job and from scratch, and that took a while, and wildly enough, still don't, haven't broken that level yet. But what this podcast has really given me was the shot, give me a shot that I guess the job would have given me, but they never really gave me a shot to basically get the chance to do what I to prove myself. Boom. And I did prove myself by getting some listener, whoever you are, and you're listening, and that is converting to me getting some income and such like that. And I just use that shot to basically progress. And then while doing that, we're giving you some information that you may find valuable, and so I basically out of nowhere create a market for myself. And in creating that market for myself, the dead end vision, the dead end reality that I had going through school doesn't really seem like I did it anymore, because I'm seeing a vision of a way forward of how I could not maybe open up that lane for many more people. And that's due to just me taking this wild shot, and living with the consequences. Like basically one of my episodes way back was talking about taking the red pill. I even watched the Matrix. You have the blue pill and the red pill, and the blue pill is basically you live in the normal life. You go to school, then I get a job, then I get a house, then married and have kids, and then eventually they grow up, and then boom, you die. Or you can take the red pill. You see the truth, the raw truth, and then you say, okay, what I am going to do with this truth. So that's basically what theoretically I did. I basically took the red pill and said, okay, I'm taking this hard road, and this hard road, there's no there's no fairy tale, there's no happily ever after. It does that, if I take the red pill, you're on your own, and that's the road that I took, and basically, it was worthwhile looking back, even though it's still risky. I still would recommend it. Still kind of I recommend it. No, but I had to take the chance for you, so that whoever, maybe in the future, if I could get these dreams that I have into reality, you can benefit from not having to take the red pill, but basically reap the benefit of what I did. you know. So that's basically what I did. And looking talking right to you right now, I'm pretty glad I did. For this wild adventure of of my of what I was doing from 2020 until now. I'm glad I took the red pill, bro. Glad I took the red pill. That mm, life is just so great. Nothing like life, bro. Nothing like life. Life is just too great, too great, too great. And I don't know. I'm not sure if you can feel my passion about how great life is, And there's more, There's more about life. There's more about life. That's the one thing. There's more. I don't. Yeah, so you feel the passion in my voice, man. Even though I'm talking pretty calmly, but I can feel the passion through my words. And that's also something that I developed over time. Like as I said before, I was pretty quiet dude, being able to express myself, and then over time, talking on this episode, talking about the things that I think I know. throughout these episodes, I started to become more social, be able to kind of hold my conversation but a lot better. And then not only that, I really understand what my social weakness was. And if you want to know, my social weakness is not that can't really talk to people. So that it was that I like certain things, and I like certain things, and most people don't really like it, or maybe they're interested in it, but they're not really interested in how I am interested in it. So the socializing, the talking about it is not going to really mesh. It's going to really die out. And then not only that, sometimes I just don't feel like talking about the things I have to talk about. Sometimes I just want to just chill and just enjoy the silence and company. Or maybe I just play around. It's like that's me. It's not that I'm very antisocial or whatnot. It's just that I like to talk about what I like to talk about when I like to talk about it. That's me. And it's through me talking about doing all these things, podcasting, let me understand that. And then by me understanding that, I get to accept that. And then, let me approach life differently. Let me know how to switch on and switch off the social aspect and such like that. And, and it made me more competent in the way I'm delivering my 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 points and such like that. So back in the days, I would be arguing a person, and my logic was out of this world. My thing was how I argue is basically I throw like a ball. My my argument would be I'm reaching for the argument. So I would say my answer, then I'm working my way back to you to show you how I got to that answer. So that's the way I usually argue. I don't really know if you understand it. But now I'm able to be more competent in my arguments. Now I'm able to decipher that, okay, should I really go and try to debate you about these things, or just give you a simple answer, or if I can actually go and take you step by step and through and step by step through the thing that you need to know, and let you get it, let you understand it. So that's through trial and error and learning. I'm able to present my argument better, be better able to explain things better. hmm Yeah, so this podcast has done a lot for me. And by it doing a lot for me, it does create a market for myself. I created my own lane, and then all of a sudden you, the listener, became one of my customers. Yeah, and that's wild thing. That's a wild thing. Like legit, I'm getting paid for talking. That and I was a person that really talk. So that's showing that there's a market for anything. There's a market for you as well. But one thing that you have to realize when you enter this market, this place where you say, okay, I'm trying to do something to get paid for it. you know, I want to do something that I love that I get paid for. You have to realize that, okay, when you enter the market, you will have competitors. You have competitors. Yeah, it's like you're entering the market. You're going to become someone's competitor eventually. And to me, I don't. I so that's when the real challenge starts, in my opinion. And my thinking is that the competitor is not that important, but is to when you enter the market, the competitor see you as a threat. So that's where the real problem is. Where basically you have to actually say, okay, no, you have to deal with this person that they will think of you like an enemy or something, that when you is just a person trying to basically do your passion, get a little money, and then live your dreams. But this person that takes it a lot seriously, saying, "Oh, this person coming as my competitor, I have to try get him out of business," or they ever do things worse, maybe try plot and do end you. Yeah, so that's real negative about trying to enter the market. These people out here, they're a wild. It's a wild world. So it's a wild world. So I guess from all of what I've learned is that I guess the hard part would be, keep delivering good services to your customer, then getting your business to make money. So first, as I said, when this podcast started, I just did a lot of um I started it to basically get myself out of the comfort zone. Then I continued to keep myself accountable. And then over time I did it because I actually love it. And then eventually I got paid. So I never got paid when I just started. It just eventually I broke. It took time to actually reach a point where I'm getting paid, you know. And it took a good while. But mhm. But what happened is, um after I get the next thing, when you start your business and actually start finally get paid, I guess the next thing will be to learn how to actually maintain and sustain your business. So that's basically the next part of the podcast. So basically, my goal was to actually trying to just make it so that when I record these episodes, it's not really taking much out of my time, and allow and basically buying back my time to actually do things that are outside of the podcast to actually get things. So that's basically the next this phase that I'm in now, is actually trying to maintain and sustain the podcast. So that's the phase that I'm in now. And on this journey, you have ups and downs, and you're basically the master of these the we call it the pilot or the sailor, the front the CEO of this up and down, where basically you can't come off. You have to basically ride out the storm and know and how to handle these up and downs. But when you finally find out how to actually maintain and sustain your business, then you can slowly look into how to expand the business. So that's basically like, for example, me having the Instagram page, the Facebook page, the YouTube channel, um the other stuff. That's basically me slowly expanding it and such. And there's more coming, but that's basically after I learn how to maintain it. I'm still trying to maintain it, but I'm taking my time scaling it while also maintaining it and such. And that's after I got paid. So basically, I never thought about maintaining and scaling it and such before I got paid, because I would basically be losing money, and then suppose it doesn't work out, So that's basically the next thing. It was with when I um started the podcast. I never thought I'd ever going in expected it to reach this far. Isn't it? So it was after a few while where I realized, okay, this is actually working. Then I started to say, okay, let me just do some more things too. Actually expand it and then do some more stuff, and then eventually, boom, here. Now we're here. So that's basically how it will be for your business as well. You'll be starting off not knowing where you will end up, and then over time you basically realize that, okay, you have a customer. Then when you have a customer now, you have to start to realize, okay, I have to deliver a good product to the customer so they actually like it. And then if they like it, they might recommend someone else to actually come to you and buy something from you again. Then you have to do that again and deliver a good product to them. Then they might come with two more, and then you have to actually find out how to maintain the ability to give those good products to your customer every time that they come. And that's how the maintaining and sustaining goes. That's that phase. Then eventually, when they know how to actually do that, so if 10 person come, you can deliver 10 good products to them as well. Then you focus, then you can learn how to say, oh, how do I expand this now? And and best you do it in that order so that when I start to expand, you can, as you expand, you can just simply go and maintain it easily. So you just expand, boom, maintain, and such like that. So that's how you, so that, if you rush it now, when I expand now, and you're getting a boom in one sector, and then another sector is falling, and then the one that is falling so bad that you basically, that the other part that is booming can't compensate for it, then basically the whole business goes under, because you scaled too fast without before learning how to maintain the small place that you had. So that's one of the things that we really look out for. hmm Yeah, but the last thing is, with all of this being said, all this stuff that I'm telling you now, when you're going into your market or going in your lane and doing what you're going to do, you have to learn these things on the fly. You have to legit learn on the job. Like all these things that I'm learning and telling you now, I never knew it until I actually started doing it. Like all the stuff that I'm learning in school, all the stuff that the science stuff, I never really realized that science was really my passion until I actually started doing it. Now to actually start applying it, I realized that okay, I actually love science. So sometimes you'll be going through school and it's like, okay, I'm doing well at this subject, but I don't really know if it's really my passion and I was really good at it passing this subject. But it's when you're really actually applying it and such like that, then you maybe realize, oh, I actually like doing this. I actually love doing this. And then when you love doing it now, then you can tolerate the ups and downs and such like that. But it's when you won't you won't progress until you're actually doing it. If you're just learning about it, you'll just be in one place, and progressing. You might be progressing, like if you're learning it and then you're passing the test. When you're doing a test, you're applying it and such like that. So I was right in that you will not really progress until you start applying it. And it's during when you're applying it now, then you realize that okay, do I love this um or I don't love it. And if you love it, the money won't even be an issue to you. You'll just be working on how to actually make this thing better and you know, how to make it something more. Yeah. So that's basically it for this episode. There's legit a market for anything. But but it may take some time for you to really reach that point where you can create your own market. But one thing I can tell you, if you reach this far, what happened was all these goals and dreams that I manifested it, I wrote it down in a book a, a good while ago. Like from I like a year after I left university. I wrote it down in a book, and all those dreams slowly are manifesting. And dreams and nightmares, like things that I manifested that I realized that, oh, I never really wanted this, and stuff that I manifested. I said, oh, I wanted this, and stuff that I manifested and I realized that okay, I manifested. No, I have to actually put in extra work to maintain it. Yeah, so those are the three things. When boom, we write down those goals, eventually over time, those goals and dreams will start manifesting it. And then you will have to realize that okay, do you want these dreams come true or not? And or you'll have to work hard to make these dreams stay a reality. Yeah, so that basically another tidbit, for those who reach this far. So that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening, and I look forward for the next episode. Um,
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
You know, I guess for the next few episodes, I'm going to just use one experience, to share a few knowledge. And each of it's a one experience, but each knowledge is kind of worth sharing. I guess I'll share it in different episode, just because. Yeah, but for this episode, they have to talk about, you have to be ready, or get yourself ready for the opportunities, because the opportunities will be there, and sometimes not in the way you like it, but if you get yourself ready, you can take the opportunity, even though it's not in the way you like it, but you make the most of it. You make the most of it because you get yourself ready to just take it, even though it's not in your favor, and then make the most of it to get more than maybe what you were willing to get from it. So that's basically the essence of it. So, this episode going to talk about